What if I told you that there's a lookup function in Excel that handles multi-condition lookups, wildcard searches, and or logic without nesting a single formula? It's called DGET, and once you see what it can do, you'll never use XLOOKUP, index match, or VLOOKUP ever again. Let's take a look. For example, here we have a sales rep summary dataset, and we need to quickly pull specific reps' total sales from this table. Instead of writing multiple XLOOKUPs, we can use the DGET function. DGET is a database function that searches a dataset based on conditions you define and returns a matching value. Before we use the function, there is one thing we need to set up first, the criteria range. The criteria range is a small table that tells DGET what to search for. All you have to do is add the column header you want to search by and add the value you are looking for directly below it. In this case, we are searching for Jordan's total sales, so I entered the rep name column header with Jordan's name in the cell directly beneath it. Now that the criteria range is set up, select where we want to pull the total sales and enter the DGET function. DGET has 3 arguments. The first argument is the database, which is the full data table we are searching, including the headers, so I'm going to select our entire sales table. Next, we need to enter the field argument, which is the column header that contains the value we want to return. In this case, we want to return the total sales, so I'm going to select the total sales header in our criteria table. Last but not least, the criteria argument is what the function is looking up. This is the criteria range we just set up, so I'm going to select the rep name header along with Jordan's name as the criteria. This is essentially telling the function to look for this rep in the rep name column and return the corresponding value in the total sales column by matching the headers. Now that we've completed all 3 arguments, enter the function and we've instantly returned Jordan's total sales. Now, I know what you may be thinking. How is this easier than XLOOKUP? But now we're going to dive into a few special use cases of the DGET function that make searching for values easier than ever. First up, looking for values that meet multiple conditions. For example, here we have a more detailed sales rep summary that contains each rep's total sales broken down by region and product category, and we need to quickly pull revenue values based on the sales rep, region, and product fields entered in our lookup table. This is a 3-way lookup, which could be really complex to build with index match, but with DGET, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is set up a criteria range with all 3 headers and the corresponding values you are searching for directly below each one. Then enter the DGET function, select the entire table as the database, reference the total sales header as the field argument, and select all 3 columns of the criteria range as the criteria argument. Enter the function, and we've officially returned Jordan's total accessory sales in the East region. And now we can easily update any of the criteria values, and the result will automatically update. Next up, partial match searching. For example, let's say we need to look up Taylor's total sales from the quarterly summary table, but we cannot remember their last name. Instead of searching through the table to find it, we can use the DGET function's built-in wildcard feature to search for values that contain certain text. So just enter Taylor in the criteria range, insert the DGET function, select the entire table as the database, reference the total sales header as the field, and select the criteria range as the criteria argument. Press enter, and as you can see, DGET automatically found the value that contains the name Taylor and returned the corresponding total sales amount. Last but not least, searching for multiple values. For example, let's say Morgan Lee on our team recently got married and changed their last name, so they could now appear in our data table as Morgan Lee or Morgan Anderson. There are multiple Morgans in our data table, so we don't want to use the wildcard functionality because it could potentially return the wrong Morgan, so instead we can use DGET's built-in OR condition to search for multiple values. All we have to do is add a second row to the criteria range with Morgan Anderson listed directly below Morgan Lee, so both names are included in the criteria. Then just enter the DGET function, select the entire summary table, reference the total sales header, and select all 3 rows of the criteria range as the criteria argument. Enter the function, and DGET automatically searches for both values and returns a corresponding total sales for the name it found. Just keep in mind that if both values appear in the dataset, DGET will return an error because it can only return one result at a time. Now, before you go and start using DGET everywhere, there are 2 limitations to keep in mind. First, the headers in the criteria and the field arguments must match the headers in your data table exactly, or else the function will not work. Second, if your criteria matches more than one row in your data, DGET will return an error because it can only return one value at a time, So make sure your criteria is specific enough to return a single result. So what do you think? Are you team VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index match, or DGET? Let me know in the comments below. DGET definitely is up there with this ability to search multiple conditions, built-in wildcard functionality, and simple OR condition setup. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to our channel for more Excel tips.